This is Resident Evil 5. We're on Xbox Series X. So the details, I suppose, aren't necessarily too fascinating with this one. This was, I suppose you could call it a bit of a remaster of this fifth entry. We didn't get any Xbox One X enhancement, so it's basically just the 1080p, but we did get the improvement of 60 FPS, which is actually really nice for this type of game. And the main reason of checking this one out specifically at this point in time is the fact that the game didn't necessarily have the most, I guess you could say, fluid and or perfect frame rate back in the day, but it's basically perfectly smooth at this point in time on the platform, and I think that's sort of exciting. It also runs a little bit better in terms of being quicker for the loading. You get into places faster, but yeah, we're stuck with that 1080, and we also don't have any of the support for Auto Hdr. Double checking there just in case my TV wasn't presenting it, but yeah, no Auto Hdr support, which I think is a little disappointing at the same time, though. I'm guessing the reason is that this has a very specific light style to it, and they didn't want to disrupt it. So I actually hadn't played the Resident Evil titles back when they originally released. They did this accidental big sale on Xbox a few years back, and they actually kept it because of how popular it was. But yeah, I got basically a whole pile of Assassin's Creed games for like a really low price. I was like, okay, cool. Now is the time to jump in and give these a whirl. So I played in co-op with a pal, and I was able to experience at least the co-op options with others. So I'm going to be looking at additional, I guess you could say, Resident Evil titles in the future, because I definitely know there have been requests and everything like that in order to, I don't know, kind of showcase this series a little bit more. And as always, you know, be sure to let me know if there is anything specifically you want to see presented when it comes to, well, games. That's really what it is, because I want to present a wide range of options. But yeah, as you can see, we've got like infinite ammo on. Like I've worked through all of this, we've done the games, and it was actually kind of fun. I did enjoy this one. This was also a title that I remembered. Oh, really helpful. I remembered from back in the day. I kind of wish I could have helped that lady there. That's what I was trying to do. Where did they go? But yeah, I do remember it from playing with a friend, actually, on 360. I think either at his house he was playing it, and I was watching. I think he had actually had the Resident Evil console at the time. Sorry, I'm actually getting bitten alive here. Am I gonna die? I might be dead. Oh, I'm just hurt, my bad. But yeah, he had the 360 console at the time, which was like a bright red look. Like it was a pure red console, which is really, really cool. And yeah, it always sounded like, I guess you could say, a dying cat was what we called it, because it had some like weird disc issue or something. But yeah, it was like the dying cat Xbox, which was kind of fun. I thought it was supposed to have infinite ammo. I'm pretty sure I put infinite ammo on. And I definitely do not have infinite ammo on. Maybe she's got infinite ammo on. Anyways, I thought I clicked the button. Maybe I'm just crazy. I'm not thinking this correctly, like how the setup was. But I just thought in the inventory selections I had chosen that. Anyways, so Resident Evil 5, kind of a neat title in terms of, well, the design and the scope of it. So it's very linear, but you're also still having that, I guess you could say, sort of past style of Resident Evil, where you are kind of figuring out what you're doing in environments and working together now in a more cooperative way, which I think is sort of interesting. You've got your partner, you can have somebody like kind of take on that role, and there's situations where, you know, you have that other individual going and doing stuff that you can't. Yeah, we can't get in that way. What am I thinking? Anyways, it's a very interesting sort of title. I think it's got a unique environment, a lot more action-type scenes in terms of the design and the setting. you know, it wasn't like it was a lot different for an Assassin's Creed, for a Resident Evil title, just in terms of the scope of it. Sorry, I've been playing just like a pile of Creed games recently. That's what I'm thinking of remasters. I'm like, remaster after remaster. But no, it was a very unique entry in the series, I think, because obviously they were changing the design of them to be a little bit more frantic and trying to keep up with, you know, the popular games of the time, and a lot of that was really faster, cinematic heavy moments with action. And I don't know if this really was the best direction for them. They've definitely abandoned it since, in regards to working towards what I say is basically like a reimagining almost of the Resident Evil series. You know, we've got, you know, the most recent one, which is like a hard, grim first-person sort of thing, and it looks like they're continuing that with Resident Evil Village, which is supposed to be the next one. And yeah, these ones almost feel like a game of their time in terms of the comparison to the horror titles, like heavy horror games that were more adventure-like, that preceded them, and then eventually the more mature, dark and grim, messed up horror titles that came after. So I think that's kind of fascinating to think about in regards to, well, basically the design of the game and the changes that we saw over the years. Oh yeah, we got like a knife ability too, which is kind of funny. But yeah, they definitely... I've been trying to no-map it too, if you've been wondering. Kind of roll through there, you can pop up the map. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of neat to take a look at this one nowadays. Where did that person come from? And to see, you know, a clear disconnect perhaps between what people were really looking for and what the studio was trying to provide at the time. Because clearly the modern take, I think, is successful. And I think it's going to be the direction for a while going forward. But who knows, maybe they'll also return to this sort of style as well down the road. I don't mind it. I actually kind of find it very interesting. I did like... Oh, there she is. The setting of this one, the design of it, the idea and the concepts that you were really sort of experiencing. I mean, it did... Well, it wasn't really scary. I think that was maybe the problem that a lot of people had with this entry in the series, is it's not really a horror type. Like, it's definitely horror, but it's not kind of spooky, jump up and grab you kind of style. It's more like, we're action heroes, with a bit of a twisted moment to it every now and then, some messed up scenes, and some different conflicts, again with a heavier focus, I think you could say, fairly towards being more narrative driven in that regard, which is certainly different. Well, that's messed up. So you got some neat characters, you got some neat moments. I think it's got an interesting, you know, kind of dynamic to it. They got some really messed up, I guess you could say, I don't know if you can really call them zombies, but monsters and creatures, you know. Oh, Jesus, she's still alive. They definitely added a variety of options in regards to who you were battling against and the things you were dealing with along the way. And it all runs so smoothly here. I mean, I don't know if you've really been seeing that at this point, but it's definitely running quite smoothly, and very, very much kind of blown away by that. Oh, jeez. Because it's nice to see the game running like this. And I'm guessing at some point down the road we're also going to see another set of remasters or ports or something like that of these Capcom titles. I'm not saying you could massively improve it by doing like a simple sort of upgrade, in the sense that, you know, just like upscaling it, you wouldn't get massive benefits. It would look better if they were to re-release it like that. Capcom's kind of a little bit in the business of, you know, doing more like minor upgrades and stuff over time. And I don't think you would have like a huge bonus by like pumping this up to 4K or giving it maybe like 120 FPS. I'm not sure you would really see a mind-blowing difference. It would be cool, it would look way better, but I'm saying you'd really have to go in and actually retexture it, or maybe do a remake, and I'm not sure if these ones, 5 or 6, would necessarily be on their target for, hey, this is something that we want to remaster, if that makes sense. I mean, who knows, right? There's lots of time between now and whenever they're going to maybe do something like this, like what I'm talking about. Things could change. We'll have to wait and see what they do with the series. But for now, I don't know, it's kind of a cool game. I think if you never played it, you might find it to be interesting. I definitely think from a co-op perspective, it's actually kind of enjoyable if you got a friend to play it with. I think that's sort of cool. And it's just running perfectly smooth now. There's really not any sort of issue that I've come across while working through this. And I hope you enjoyed this kind of look at Resident Evil 5. Got an idea maybe a little bit about the story. And, well, hopefully not, because I don't want you to be surprised when I'm doing these reviews story-wise. You can go in and maybe freshly experience something, but just kind of the gist of these two dynamic characters as they're going around kind of on an investigation to figure things out, dealing with enemies, creatures, monsters, and of course experiencing the latest chapter in this Resident Evil series that continues to grow and dynamically change and of course evolve year after year. It's a neat one, it's a smooth running one, and it still does actually look pretty clean and impressive. Just a little disappointed about the lack of HDR in this situation. I will say that the co-op partner also helps quite a bit. That's a rare sort of thing when you are playing with AI, is they don't tend to be helpful. Whereas I think this one actually is a helpful partner.